Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Orange Crushing It. My name is Frank Clark. I'm the CEO of the Mr. Orange. And guess what? We have hit the halfway mark in 2020, the halfway mark of all the Orange Crushing It episodes I've done. This is episode number 26. And, you know, I always kind of cue it up and go, hey, I've got a good friend on here. This is a good friend. This girl's a great friend. This guy's a great friend. And they are. I mean, I've had a lot of good people on the show, and I feel so blessed. And I want to thank everybody that's ever been participating in my show at all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot bestow enough gratitude for that. And today, you know, there's people that you call good friends, there's people you call acquaintances, and then there's a handful that you go, these are my best friends. These are my best friends. And today I get the privilege of interviewing a best friend, a guy like has had my back for a bajillion years. Seems like we've been through a lot of stuff together. Some funny shit, some crying on each other's, shoulders, all of it. Just the whole gambit of kids and marriages and babies and business and you name it. This guy's incredibly successful. His name is Arlin Horsley. Arlin is the youngest of 8 siblings. He's had 4 sisters and 3 brothers. The guy's like me. He's been working his ass off since the age of 5 in the family-owned aquatic plant business, which I will love to bust his chops about maybe later on. He's always kind of had something going on, always. And in 1986, which is when I started my company, he actually started his career in the electronics industry. And then through a turn of events, he was working for a company that in 2002 shut the factory down here in Florida. He was actually a customer of my company, and that's how I got to know him. And then it was like, hey, man, why don't you open a division of my business down here? And he's like, and he was just an innovator, man. The guy was just crazy good. He took what I was doing in my business and just made it, he painted the fine edges around it, man. He just made it really, really cool. He got us into industries I never thought would be possible. An innovator. He started his own company in 2012 called BAJA Bid, which is an international organization founded on asset management services, and specifically in the electronic manufacturing space. The business has been growing like a weed. He's doing really, really well. The guy's a natural athlete. You know, you can never challenge him to anything. It doesn't matter, okay? If you're going to play cornhole, if you're going to play poker, if you're going to run around the block, if you want to get on a bike, this guy's going to kick your ass. He's crazy like that, okay? Even if that means he's going to stab you first and then run past him. I don't know, okay? But he's a great guy. I'm proud to call him not just a good friend, but a best friend. Arlin Horsley, welcome to Orange Crushing It, brother.
Well, holy shit. I mean, if I was half of the man that you just explained, mama did me well. Single mother, raised me, and, thank you, Frank. It is a privilege. It is an honor to be on this podcast with you and your large following. And I can't thank you enough, brother. Yes, you're a best friend. And it'll probably come out as part of this conversation. You'll see a lot of Mr. Orange, a.k.a. Mr. Tangerine for me. And I really appreciate it, brother. I owe you more than you know, not only professionally, but personally. And glad to call you a brother.
Amen. Amen to that, dude. Amen to that. Lots of stories. Hey, one of the things, Arlin, that impresses me about you is the way that you embody the Orange Crushing It energy. And the Orange Crushing It energy, for those who have never listened to a podcast here with us or part of the Orange movement, you understand that Orange Crushing It is all about just being driven and being passionate about what you do and, seeking some success, but also not at your own expense or not at the expense of others, but really at the core of it is helping other people get what they want. Helping other people be successful in their lives is how we become successful in Orange Crushing It. And Arlin certainly embodies that. He's always the, what can I do for you kind of guy. And I love that about him. He's that kind of person. And so, dude, this whole, tenacity to work, I started working at 5 years old. Take me back in your life and go, hey, when did this all start? And when did you kind of go, it's not just for the family, but I see that this is the way to get ahead. At what age was it instilled in you? And you went, man, this is the way to do it. And who was inspirational for you in that time in your life?
Well, Frank, I'm gonna get a little personal here, and I'm gonna be a little vulnerable, and everything you want lives outside your comfort zone. And I know how much this podcast and your listeners mean to you, so I'm gonna share some little personal stuff, and that is probably inherent to who I am, and made me who I've become. At the age of 6 months old, I was given up by my birth mom. And I was adopted by not a acquaintance, but literally, I mean, you're talking 50 years ago, right? A neighbor, a good friend of my biological mother, and her name was Rose Horsley. And she just, was a caregiver, and, the village raises the kids, right? So she adopted me from my biological mom, and very, very grateful. And my dad, my adoptive dad, which again, from here going forward, I'll refer to them, my mom and my dad, because that's who they are. My dad passed away when I was 4 years old of cancer. And my mother, being I've been the youngest of 8, raised me as a single mom for many years before she married my stepdad later on in my life. But we had a, I'm sure you're going to give me shit about this, as you always do. We had a little family-owned business. It was aquatic plants that go in fish aquariums. And, we collected these and shipped them all over the world. And my mother was of the making is that, listen, nothing good came easy. If you want to earn it, if you want it, you got to earn it. Nothing in life is given to you. So, get out there, put in the hard work, put in the dedication. Total opposite of some of the entitlement people we hear to in today's society. But the reality of it is she instilled in me at a young age the whole discipline of hard work, produces results. And I'm so forever grateful. And I had 7 other siblings. I was the youngest by 12 years from my youngest other sibling, my sister. And again, they didn't give me any mercy. They didn't give me any mercy. Look, you ain't going to come through life and be the young, puppy that and get everything we ever got, So I'm forever grateful. And I bounced around, believe it or not, being a single mother. And a lot of my siblings raised me. I would live from time to time when they're in their houses. They were older and they were married and all of that stuff. And then, at the age of 9 years old, my brother was my youngest brother. His name was Melvin. And I don't even know that you know this, but he was my, growing up, he was about 7, 8 years older than me. And he was my hero. And tragically, he was taken in a motorcycle accident. He was in New Mexico, him and his girlfriend. They were just driving down the road, and some lady ran a stop sign. And anyway, tragically took his life. And so I've had some share of heartbreaks at my age, but I never looked at it as a crutch, never looked at it as an excuse for, anything other than go, look, hey, let's be grateful. I've always had this, I don't know what it's inherent to me or whatever from my upbringing, but I've always got this motto that gratitude is the best attitude. I don't give a shit how bad you got it. There are people that have it worse. And so with that mindset, it's carried me through my life. We've all had ups and downs, but you got to focus on the positives. Where you look is where you go. And I'm a firm believer in that. My kids, I have 2 beautiful girls, and I have a couple of stepsons that I know they get tired of hearing me say it, but I'm like, listen, where you look is where you go. You want to focus on the negative, that's what you're going to produce. And I'm a firm believer in that. And that's my motto that, let me guess, Dad, let me guess. Where you look is where you go, right? So I'm like, yep, that's it. You get more with salt. You get more with sugar than you do with salt. So I have these little mottos, and some of these mottos have even came from you. And it's what I live by. And I'm forever grateful for you and the other people that have influenced and gave me that positive attitude.
So, well, and dude, seriously, thanks for, sharing that part of your life, right? Certainly losing your brother at an early age, your mom being such a great influence for you, that whole drive. My mom was probably the drive for me too. My dad was, he worked his heart out. He always was very consistent every single day. I think it was my mother that was like throwing me out in the street 4:30 in the morning, right? And you're like tying water lilies, right? At 5 years old. So, like, aren't you like the king water lily guy now in Tampa Bay?
I know you deliver newspapers. I got you.
Well, hey, you got to tie up the newspapers too before you chuck them to a house. And I was like, I don't know that it's quite the same skill as, that water lily thing, but hey, maybe we'll go toe to toe one of these days, Listen, brother, you again have a big, big heart, and that, where you look is where you go. I certainly won't jab you about your wardrobe, about where you're looking in the women's department in the department store. Maybe you might want to stop, but I will just continue with the show. Look, dude, you got to be quick, and you are one of the quickest guys, quickest wit. That's the one thing I love about you, man. Other than your drive and your passion, you are a funny mofo. You are a funny mofo, and this guy's got quick wit. Maybe because it's my show, he's holding back right now, but he's the funniest guy on the planet. Hey,
you ever never upstages the host or the star of the show. Man. It's not good for anybody, right? Come on, you gotta take a back seat when you need to.
It's all about the guest, man. It's all about the guest. Hey, Arlin, one of the things I know about you is, as you got older in your life and you started getting into high school and stuff, very competitive. You played sports pretty much all the time, right? You play football, baseball, and I know, and it's one of the things I like to instill in all kids is, when you play, whatever you're going to do in life, play a sport and play a team sport. Yeah, there's greatness in individual sports like, tennis or golf or, where you're an individual contributor. But man, there's just something about team sports that to me brings out just some incredible life skills and some great benefits. And I know you've been an advocate for that. You're really good with your kids about getting them involved and stuff like that. You've been involved in the local community. Tell me the importance to you of, competitiveness and team sports and your history with it and how it's transcended into your business life.
Well, thank you for asking, Frank. It's a good question. The reality of it is, there's no I in team. And I truly believe that. And the team is only as good as the weakest link. And I had coaches growing up that basically said, listen, you go as the team goes, whether you're the star or whether you're a third person on the bench, you are, and we're all equal. And I think it's important that you instill that in whatever type of team environment you will, whether it's athletics or whether it's sales or whether it's, just being part of a family for we're all a team here. We're all going to grow together. We're all going to improve together. We're going to cry together. We're going to laugh together. But it's really important that you instill that type of attitude, an ethic, if you will, in everything that you do. Because I can tell you right now, the star will shine. You don't have to pat yourself on the back. The cream will rise to the top, and you don't. That to me is a sign of a good leader. Is when you don't have to necessarily pat yourself on the back, and everybody knows, hey, that's the leader. That's the person that's making it happen. But they don't need to necessarily have all of the accolades and the pat on the back. The results speak for themselves. And you and I have had some, we've done some different exercises together, and whether it's Tony and whether it's all these different personality traits, and it's true. It's true. It makes I don't remember the disc. I think it was the disc theory that we went through, Frank, where the D, high D, and you're going to have, it makes all types of people make up a good team. Can't have all leaders, when this, going to go out there and be the analyzer or the analytical person, or, it's really good. And so everyone has their strengths. Everyone has their weaknesses. You want to maximize their strengths and minimize their weaknesses, in my part.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you just talked about is, there's one thing we're common with, and that's the Tony Robbins organization. We've done a couple of seminars together. There was a time when I was sending everybody in the company to that and introducing them to personal development so they can expand their thinking, right, and just grow. And the thing you talked about is the DISC profiling test. It's DISC. And the personality traits of, a person that's a high D, which you are and I am, is that we're very driven and that we're risk takers and that we're just kind of go-getters and almost to the point of foolishness. Sometimes we just go, 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 right? It's like fire, ready, aim.
Not no A to Z.
Yeah, there's no A to Z. It's just right there, right? Go and get it. And And I think, again, part of that is, you start off, you get a discipline to work hard at an early age. And again, then you play for team sports, and there's always seems to be, in my life, there's a handful of people that always jumped out that inspired me, right? They said the right thing at the right time. I don't care if it's 11 or 6 or 25 or 40 or 50 or whatever it is, right? There's always been one or two people that pop out in your life. And who was that for you? Who, especially like formative years, right? You're like, okay, you're high school, you're in grammar school. I don't care when it was. Was it your mom? Was it somebody that was it a sibling? Was it, a coach? Who was it that kind of gave you some advice? And what was that advice that you still carried through the rest of your life?
Well, I mean, I think for an early stage, it definitely was my mom and even some of my siblings. They, by not cuddling me, by also considering the circumstances, with the adoption and everything like that, they never held that over my head. They always made me feel part of the family. I've never, felt as an outsider, and that's very encouraging. And but my mom was definitely instrumental in my upbringing, and God rest her soul. She was one of the hardest workers. I mean, she is no nonsense kind of lady. She was about 5'1". She weighed about 190 pounds. She didn't want to screw her. Everybody in the family knew you don't mess with mama. But now the same, don't let someone come in and try to mess up the pack, so to speak. So early on, it was definitely her. And I know this is Mr. Orange, but I gotta really say personally that you, Mr. Clark, was very, very instrumental in my life, and you've given me so much wisdom and so much guidance. Again, not just professionally, but personally. And a lot of the upbringing, unless in my later years, I can relate back to you. I know that this is a Mr. Orange thing, but you're Frank Clark to me, and you always will be. And you'll be a brother, and I appreciate it. And Tony, I got introduced to Tony, and that whole personal development, environment, if you will, through you. And I'm forever grateful for that. I mean, I think inherently I had some of the positive things. I go to those seminars, and man, I'm the biggest and loudest, obnoxious one there, man. I'm going in. It's like you said, 99% is a bitch. So I'm going 100%, 110, or I'm not going. And I'm really grateful for you and everything you've done for me and my family, okay? And you continue to do. And I am so grateful that I can be a small part of this little, network of people that you're putting together. And God bless you, brother, because I'm telling you right now, you are one person that embodies the orange, mentality. And I know how much this podcast and this whole movement you're making means to you. And I'm just so grateful that you asked me to be on and be part of this. So thank you, brother. Thank you.
Oh, dude, you're welcome. And you're touching my heart, man. I truly, truly, truly appreciate the words you're saying. I want to just let those absorb into me. And I love you, and I thank you. And I'm glad that, I was some positive influence in your life, and if it helped you at all, I appreciate that. I'm going to take that in. Normally this would be a time you and I will tee up some joke.
And we're going to. Enough of that bullshit. Let's go ahead and get back to the real shit.
The love, the bromance is over. Let's get back to some.
I can hear all your podcast listeners now going, "What the hell's wrong with these sons of a bitches? They can make it out or what?"
No.
I mean it. I genuinely mean it, buddy.
Well, and thank you, brother. Thank you. As you've grown, now you're starting your own business, right? You're out on your own. You started BAJA Bid, which is an auction company, international auction company. And tell us a little bit about that business and, again, some of the things that you've taken away or how you instill leadership within that organization.
Well, thank you for asking. Again, going back to you and your influence on my life, I grew up in the manufacturing industry. I was a go worker, right? A busy bee. I go in every day, clock in, at 6 a.m. and leave at 6 p.m. And I bust ass, made a good life and living. And I still remember back the day that we referenced earlier in the podcast with regards to 2002 comes. I've never been laid off, never got fired. I mean, always first in, last out type of thing mentality, right? Always getting promotions and really doing well in my professional career. And like we get an announcement that, oh, by the way, we're coming in, we've been taken over, and a couple of years after they take over, they said, you guys don't fit our business model. So we're coming in, we're going to lay 782 of you guys off. And the good thing is, and it could be a lot worse. Again, it's all about the gratitude's the best attitude. Where you look is where you go, focus. They gave us, I was lucky enough to be one of the last 18 to be effectively laid off. And so we were part of the exit strategy, if you will. We had to get rid of the equipment. And as part of that process, I met you. And when one door closes, two doors open. And I really, again, the glass is not half full of me, it's 3/4 full. And I'm always looking to add more to it. So the reality of it is we closed the factory, and you did one of the sales pitch on me, and I look back, and I'm so grateful, because the reality is at the time I believe was a sales pitch, it actually became one of the best things that ever happened to me. And I mean that from sincere to the bottom of my heart. You gave me an opportunity. You gave me coaching, so much information, so much knowledge, to help expand your business, and gave me the freedom to think outside the box and put my own spin on it, and had to reel me in a few times. But at the end of the day, we did really good. We had an international business. We opened offices in Europe and Mexico, and we moved, you created a site in California. So I can't begin to even quantify, if you will, the experiences and what they brought to me, and allowed me to not only just become a leader in the business. You taught me so much from a business perspective of how to run a business, and got more involved in stuff that I never thought I would. Anyway, and then you were very, very supportive when I said, okay, listen, I want to go out and do my thing. And you were instrumental in helping me. And this is all part of the orange, mentality, man. You were like, yeah, well, let me see what I can do. Let me help you out. Let's get this done. I hate to see you go, but dude, when a bird wants to get away the nest, let's let him go. And you were very supportive. And what we do at BAJA Bid, just to keep it simple, is we're an asset management partner. We really want to come in and provide solutions to people specifically with equipment requirements in the electronics industry. And for those that don't know, it's a unique industry, but it's all I've ever done, right? I mean, literally from the time of my entire working career, from 18 to now 53. I know I don't look a bit over 43, but hey, I am 53, despite what you may think.
You think that it's a podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, you look hot, dude. Yeah, you look with the face for radio. Go ahead. Sorry.
That is true. That is true. A face that only mom can love. No, with all due respect, though. So again, we're just a solution provider. I always say, look, the best sales is one that you believe in, right? And then you don't have to, integrity based. I know that you're part of the whole Unblinded network, and I'm getting involved in a little bit. Been contacted by them. I think that's a great, platform, and a great, just gotta say, people with the guys over there. So I'm looking forward to getting to know more about that. But man, the best story to always remember is the true story. And I love the whole, hey, let me look. Sometimes I may not be able to help you out, but I'm gonna give 110% to try to help you out and make you more successful. You'll keep me in mind, and our business and our industry in mind for future opportunities.
And that's why your company's growing, because you have an attitude of gratitude, and you also reach out and, what's in the best interest of the customers, what's in the best interest of your team. And then, you're serving yourself last. And I think that's the true definition of a great entrepreneur and somebody that's going to be successful throughout their life. I wanted to ask you a question, because there's some part of your, upbringing that I have no reference point on. I mean, there are certain things that I've been around the world around pretty well, and God knows I've collected enough wives and kids, and done a few things. Right?
you got that covered, my brother.
I got that covered, and started a few companies and sold them and closed them and moved around, and I've had a lot of life experiences, a lot of things that I really, really, truly appreciate. Some things that were friction before are now things that I look back and go, that was a blessing in disguise. I love that. We're both dads, and you raised two girls, you know, and a couple of stepsons as well. And I know your daughters, you know, are your world. And it's always, that's one thing I've always been impressed with you is that, you know, it's your family first and your girls, especially, you know, your natural born daughters, especially. How was the fact that you were adopted? This is the piece I just don't know. You know, I was born with my parents. I don't know that it has any effect, but I just wanted to ask you, does the raising of your kids or the influence that you have on people at all have anything to do with the fact that you were adopted, or is there any correlation between that thinking to your present day?
That's a very good question. I don't know that I've ever been asked that question, and I don't know that I've thought about it as much as maybe I should have. But I think maybe subconsciously, in the fact that it's always in the back of my mind that my biological mother and God bless her. By the way, she passed on of cancer 3 or 4 years after. So I really am so thankful in the fact that whatever the case may be, was it the right time or the right situation, I don't harbor any bad feelings with her. I'm glad that she found a family that brought me in, and I was able to, you know, get the love and nourishment and everything, support, everything I needed. So I guess I am a little, again, subconsciously aware of that situation. And I think that's why it's so important to me to make sure that I am a positive role model and I'm supportive to my girls. And it's just to my girls. I have 3 stepsons that mean the world to me. I say the daughters thing because of the fact that I come from a situation where I don't know anyone else in this world that has the same bloodline except for those 2 girls. And so for that, I'm very protective, and I'm very appreciative, and I'm very honored to be their dad. And I don't want to get all teary-eyed up here, but they mean the world to me. But my stepsons do too, because the reality of it is their father wasn't necessarily in their lives, and I was that role model, and I was that father figure growing up. So, and they mean the world to me. They all mean the world to me. But thank you so much, and thanks for asking. And thank God this is a podcast.
Yeah, we're having a Cuba Gooding Jr. movement here, like from Jerry Maguire. You're not going to make me cry, man. You're not going to make me cry. Right? Remember that scene?
Yes, I remember that scene.
Show me the money. Yeah.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. No, and thank you, dude. Thanks for, you know, opening yourself up and being vulnerable, and I appreciate that. Because again, it's you know, you can tell when somebody's very heart-centered. And look, we're high drive guys. You are an orange as much as I am, meaning that you have this tenacity and, you know, thrill seeking and just bust your balls and hard nose to the grind, right? Get it done, make it happen, get her done, Billy Bob, is what I'll say to my southern brother here.
What up, Buttercup?
What up, Buttercup? And yet, you know, this, as hard driving as that is, now you're raising 2 daughters, and you got to learn how to be sensitive and all that stuff, right, with girls, and what all the dynamic of being single dads and raising daughters, right? And yet, you know, your kids have always come first all the time. And so it's impressive, man. It's impressive that you've had blended families, you know, a couple times, and you got your natural kids. And I just want to acknowledge you for that, because, and anybody who's out there listening right now that's a single parent that has ever had to raise children on their own or through a blended family and deal with all that dynamics of, okay, who's got visitation this weekend, and what's the new ex look like, and the new ex is getting married to somebody else, and what's that whole dynamic look like, and oh my God, they want to move, and oh, is it child support, and you know, did you pack the coat? No, you're supposed to have coats at your house, and I paid the money. Oh, fucking all that bullshit.
Yes, man. Yes, man.
Yeah, then that is a dynamic, man, that, you know, unfortunately, I guess, you know, that we live in an age where 60% of marriages don't seem to work. So there's a lot of people, probably more than not, that live with this scenario. And yet, I still give a lot of props out there. Anybody that's listening that's raised kids on their own, or raised them indirectly, or taken kids on, foster children, adopted people, you know, that's a big-hearted person out there, and I want to just acknowledge it. And I want to acknowledge your mom, you know, rest in peace, for doing that. And you, dude, you know, because you take that skill, you take that feeling, that core in you, and then you not only put it with your business, you put it with your girls. And that's great to know. That's great to see. Now, like me, you're a grandfather, okay? And you catapulted yourself into looking older than me now, your grandfather. I mean,
Wow. Wow. Just remember, I will be younger than you, my man.
did I just hurt your one feeling? Did I just crush it?
It has one feeling. You just jumped all over its ass. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, man. No matter how high I get, I know you're going to knock me down. I appreciate that, buddy.
You know, hey, the man at the top of the mountain didn't fall there, man. And I ain't leaving soon, okay?
I got you. I got you.
No, but we're grandfathers now, right? We're grandparents. And we had a chance to raise kids. And now it's like, to me, it's like, oh, man, I get another chance at this, right?
Oh, my God. Aren't you so right? Aren't you so right?
Isn't it like, and you go, man, this kid is just like so, it's like the clay, right? It's just so soft clay. I can make this into anything, right? I can transform, I can influence, I can be a legacy, I can be, you know, the greatest inspiration in the world to this little baby. And being a grandfather, you know, what would you say, you know, at some point, right, we're going to pass. At some point, I know I'm going to be like 150. You're probably going to be like 160, whatever, right? We're going to live a long time. But when that day comes, right, what's the message that you want your grandson, granddaughter, grandchildren to be like? My grandfather was this kind of guy.
You know, again, what a great question. You know, I don't know if you Google these. I don't know where the hell you get them, but that's great. You know, but you hit the nail on the head, Frank. And the reality of it is that, you know, I took parenting very seriously, but I didn't make all the right decisions. I didn't do all the right things all at the right time. And this is like a second. I get a reprieve. I get a do-over, so to speak. And I get a lot of the things. And I'm so thankful for my kids and how the people they've turned out to be. And you know, they're very productive, and they're not menaces to society. Let's just say that. And I'm forever grateful for that. But by any stretch of imagination, did I do everything correct? So, and I'm hoping to improve. I'm in a much better state, you know, financially, mentally, you know, professionally, everything. So I want to be a positive role model to my grandchild, to all my grandchildren, the more they have, you know, maybe again, shed some light and shed some knowledge, if you will, and some integrity, and tell someone, listen, one of the things I would give advice to any parent these days, and I really truly mean this, and I didn't learn this early on, but I learned it as I got on in the later part of my years and my wisdom, is be their parent first and then their friend. Not their friend first and their parent. You may have to make some tough calls and say some tough things, but because it's the right thing to do as their parent. The minute you try to be their friend first, doesn't mean you can't be friendly with them and loving and caring and nurturing, but you got to be their parent first. What would the parent do? Ask yourself, what is the right thing to do as a parent? And once you do that, I think the rest will fall in line, you know? And so now I get to spoil the hell out of my grandchildren, but also teach them, you know, some wisdom and some ways and some of these many sayings that I live by. And so they can go home and aggravate the hell out of my daughters and my kids. But, you know, I want them to say that, you know, my granddad really cared, and he tried to show other people that he cared, and, you know, tried to live life in the right way as much as possible.
Well, and that's a beautiful message. That's a beautiful message, and that's a beautiful way to leave a legacy, right? Is to inspire kids to do and have a great life and be grateful. And I don't know, for my grandson, I want him to feel like he's explored everything. He has the courage to go try things. You know, if I could go back to my years and instill anything, it's, you know, try everything. You could fuck failure, fuck fear. We're all going to fail. The people that are the most successful have failed the most because they've taken the most chances.
Absolutely.
Right. So go out and test yourself. Go out all that time and do that. Now, one of the things that, as you're raising your new grandson, one of the things I kind of hope that maybe you've learned from me, if there's any in wisdom at all that you've taken from me in the 20 plus years that we've known each other, close to that, is Boston sports is a legacy. You know, we have the Patriots, the Red Sox, the Bruins, and the Celtics, and now Tampa Bay is starting to get, you know, some level of what we'll call it, you know, excellence in their sporting teams. And if there's any bigger Tampa sports fan on the planet than you, I don't know who they are. If there's any bigger Gator fan on the planet than you, I don't know who they are. And by the way, I can tell that because I can hear you screaming from any bar in Boston, and you would be here in Tampa Bay. You are the loudest, I got to say, most passionate sports fan in the Tampa Bay area. And now that I come to Florida, and now that my boys, Brady and Gronk, come down here and are playing for your football team, which now I have to admit, you and I are season ticket holders now to the Bucks. So I have crossed over a little bit into the danger zone of my loyalty to New England. Dude, now that are you going to teach your grandson to be a Brady, you know, Brady fan, and you're gonna start to embrace the love that is the New England sports teams, or you're going to make them all Tampa Bay?
So listen, I'm going to throw you for a spin here because you're probably not thinking I'm going to respond the way that I'm going to respond, but I'm going to do it anyway. Listen, I don't have any hard feelings when it comes to you New Englanders and your Boston sports teams. They're great. They're awesome. I love the passion. I wish we had more of that down here. You know, if that was the case, maybe we'd be better. But, you know, at the end of the day, what have you done to me lately, baby? And I think we just kicked your Bruins' ass, okay, and kicked you guys out of the playoffs. Let's don't even get into the damn Red Sox, okay? And now we go steal the Golden Boy. I mean, I think even you, Mr. Red Sox, Mr. Bruins, Mr. New England with a fucking thick-ass accent, your ass realized the palm trees are better than the damn – exactly.
Wicked
exactly.
smart, brother. Wicked smart.
We can smart. We go park the car. Listen, motherfucker, there's a reason why the older you get, the more smarter you get. The reason why you moved to Florida and the palm trees and the margaritas. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So now we've literally taken all of the what do you call it, Title Town, and moved it down south, and we are glad to be here. But
well, we shall see. We shall see. And I'm on the bandwagon. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm on the bandwagon. I have a Brady's Buck shirt. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. I have a Brady Buck shirt, and you know, I'm here, man. I'm riding the train, man. Let's hope the Rays can kick the Astros out and make the World Series happen here, and then the Bucks get to the Super Bowl because it's Super Bowl's here in Tampa next year. All good things. All good things.
Yep. I really, you know, at the end of the day, man, I'm so grateful that we have some good teams down here, and I'm grateful to call you as a friend. And I would like to say, as I've gotten older, and again, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And you are perfect timing with me because I have really started to embrace the whole concept of Mr. Orange and the art of giving, really giving, and that's more meaningful and more rewarding than taking it for yourself. So thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you for your friendship, thank you for your trust, thank you for all the laughs, man. I have had belly-splitting laughter with you over the last 18 plus years, and great memories, great lessons. I've learned so much from you in our business, in my businesses, raising kids. Again, you're an idol to me, dude. You're a great friend. I totally appreciate you. And listen, for our audience that wants to get more of the BAJA Bid, or get to know you better, or maybe just want to sharpen their water lily tying skills, I don't know. How do they get a hold of you? How can people get a hold of you?
Or make an ass of themselves. Hey, no one makes an ass of themselves bigger than me, man. I'm the one of my own jokes, and I only acknowledge that, accept that role, okay? So if you keep laughing at yourself, man, shame on you. The best way to get a hold of me is you can email me at arlin@bajabid.com. That's ARLIN at boy apple jack apple boy igloo david.com. And I'll gladly respond, love and breathe and eat email. So rain or shine, I'll respond in a timely manner. So thank you again.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for being on the show. Again, you emblazon and embody the orange energy. You're a driven guy. You're passionate, and you're funny as hell, man. And thanks for being on the show. This was really a lot of fun. We got to make this a regular series. Arlen, have a great day. Stay inspiring, my brother. Take care.
All right. Thank you, Frank.